Hey guys, this is Rob from Wax a Disc, and what I'm going to show you today is a new plugin from the UVI company in France called the Super 7. Now, they got in touch with me last week and asked me to do a short tutorial on this to help promote their new product, which I gladly accepted. Now, this synth here, the Super 7, is a 262 patches of sounds deliberately created for new disco, future funk, synth wave, retro wave, techno, tech house, etc. So it's a very purposely crafted VST. Now, all you have to do in order to get it to work is to download the free UVI workstation, then head over to the UVI website with the link in the description below, and it costs around €49 to buy. Now, so that's about £43 in English money and in British pounds, and about $60 in US. So it's really good value for money, and you get some absolutely brilliant sounds amongst this, so it's really worth checking out. So I'm going to do a very basic video now just to show you the outlines of it and the basic capabilities of it before you can go off and buy it yourself and dig a little deeper with it. So it's really worth getting, and check the link at the bottom of the screen after you've watched the video. I'm only going to focus on the disco package today because there's so many presets in here. I'll be here all day. So today I'm going to do the disco ones, and then next week I'll probably do something slightly different with the other sounds in there. Thank you and enjoy the video.
Okay, so the first thing to do is open up the workstation. Once you've downloaded that and installed it, then obviously go over to the UVI website, purchase the package, and then load it up. So you click on the folder here, and in there you've got all the sound banks. And you've got all of these that come with this package. There's 10 packs in total, and there's lots of different presets within each one. I've not even had a chance to go through them all yet, but I've experimented with the modern disco and the future funk one and the synthwave one. So we're going to focus on the modern disco one today. Now, when it says modern disco, it's obviously a lot of new disco sounds, a little bit electro-y. You know, it's not like old school disco with, you know, strings and stuff. Nevertheless, this has got some really good stuff in it that you can break down and use individually if you're not keen on the actual sound of the preset itself. So, for example, this is the Super 7, the first one called the Mirror Ball. So that there is basically how the package works. You've got 6 different presets all put together within a little pattern. So there's a melody and a lead and a bass line and drums, etc. So I'm going to break it down for you. So this one, the Mirror Ball, you've got your rhythm, which is your drums, then your bass. You've got a little melody in there, synth, 1, 2, and 3. So your rhythm is your drum machine. So if you click on that and look into it, you can see that the drum machine operates like any other drum rack, where you've got all of the different sounds, and you can send reverbs to just the kick or the snare, for example, like so, and put some delay in it. So it's a really cool little drum kit. It's straight to the point. There's no faffing with it. You can just get straight on with it. So you've got all the different drum patterns in here. Look, you've got your classic 606, 708, 08s, 909s, and then you've got some different ones as well, which are programmed ones by the company itself. And then, you know, they're all quite experimental. But obviously they've just used the 707 on this one. So, for example, we've got the drum pattern. So we go back into the synth itself. And what I'll do is I'll go over to the bass. Now the bass, look, when you click on that, you can see that it's controlled by the arpeggiator, and it goes like this. But obviously, if you take off the arp, you can just have the standard. Okay. Now, within this preset package, so if I solo the rhythm, the drums, and the bass, put the arpeggio back on. You know, obviously, if you wanted to just put your own bass line in there and you record that into Ableton or whatever DAW you use is fine. You can do so. You don't have to use these patterns. But what you could do is, if you wanted that drum machine, but you didn't like the bass sound, obviously just click on here and change the bass sound in all of the different basses they've got. So you can mix and match whatever it is you want to do. So that's quite cool. But what I would be using this for mostly would be for the arpeggiated sounds myself. So you go over to the melody one. Let's look at the melody one. It's got a programmed arpeggio in there, so do that. can take that off, take off the ARP and make it an individual. So that's that. And then you've got the next one, which is a synth one. And it's got, again, a little program. Just a nice atmospheric sort of ambient sort of sound. And then we've got this one, whichever this one is. Look. So they're quite trancey sort of sounds, but put together, that's looped, look, over those two bars, look. So we could take that off and go. Quite nice sort of retro wave sort of sounds. So if I was to play this again, all of it at once. So all I'm doing is playing one note of my keyboard. So at the moment I'm going to play C major. So that's middle C, and then I'm going to go down to A, then F, then G, all single notes. So and come back up again. So you can do that. But obviously what I want to do is I just want the drums for this. So obviously the problem with this that I find on my computer, you might not find it, is it's quite CPU heavy. So just be mindful of that. So the best thing to do is to take it to audio and just get the drums up like so. So I just want that little drum pattern, and I want to convert that over to audio. So I just do the classic trick of duplicate that, just quantize it, and then come out of there, right click on it, freeze it. Then it's just drag that down to the audio, and there we go. And now I can delete that pattern in there, unfreeze track, and away I go to the next thing. So now I've got the drum loop out of there, so that's good. So let's get rid of that. And so I've got that. Obviously I've just gone and deleted my synth when I shouldn't have done. So let's get back to there. So go back into here, back into the files, modern disco, and let's choose the next one. Let's choose this one, Giorgio Baretta Part 2. Okay. So I want the bass off that. So I like that. So just play the bass with that. So you can take that from there. So what I'll do is quickly, that's just showing you how you can just take off one sound and freeze it and stuff like that. But let's just have a look at the rest of the patterns in this video. So let's go back to the start. Modern disco, we did bounce, we did the mirror ball. Let's take that bass, bouncing bass. Now, as I say, these are all pre-recorded, and you can manipulate and take away the sounds. You can change the sounds in each of the banks, and you can use the arpeggiator in that. So let's have a look at the bouncing bass one. So that's that one. As I say, a lot of them are quite, electro sort of funk sounds. But you can take these and manipulate them into any kind of, disco track. This is really cool. So that's that one, the Disco Velvet. Next up is Dusty Circuits. It's a little bit more on the techno-y side of things. But it's nevertheless quite a nice sound. Euphoric. And then we have Forgotten Days. Sounds like they use a 909 on that one, which I'm right there. Look. So that's that one. As I say, when you look at it and break it down, a lot of the sounds sound quite trancey, but when you put them together, you can come up with some pretty cool stuff, particularly for retro wave and that kind of thing. It's a bit craft work. Stroke Giorgio Moroder. And the next one is Giorgio Baretta 2, which we've done. I really like the drums on this one. Really funky. And obviously on the bass one, you can manipulate it with the filters and those things. Put the phaser on, that's really cool. So that's quite cool. And then you've got all the other sounds, such as this next one, which is the Into the Night. That's pretty cool. So even if you just wanted some good drum loops, you know, pre-programmed, you know, or you can just tweak them, it's worth getting for that. And the next up is More Fuse. So that's pretty nice. And then we've got the New Age Funk. If you wanted to take some sounds out, like, where's that? Take that out, just mute that. You know, you've got some pretty cool, you know, sounds in there that you don't, you know, you could take out the melodies and stuff and they just completely change the sound altogether. So that's quite nice. You could just take the bass of that, imagine Giorgio Moroder. And so on. And then you've got the next one is 90s. Doesn't sound very 90s to me, but still. Okay, Philadelphia. That's quite nice. Pro MKX. And the next one is Rob Ubley. Very cool. And what else we got in this package? We have got the roller disco. So that's that one. And then we have Sort It Out. And then we have, what else we got? Sort It Out. Classic art. So let's say that. And obviously you've got the effects in here. Look, you've got compressor, equalizer, reverb, delay, drive. You know. So what you could do in effect is, you know, if you was producing new disco music, you know, no matter how fast you'd produce it, you could produce your own little arpeggios and change the pattern of them. So you can continuously manipulate them and change that like this. Look. Loads of different sorts. So they've got loads of built-in presets for arpeggios alone. Look. Go down octave. So you've got a ton of basic and quite sophisticated patterns for bass lines. So if you ever struggle for bass lines, you could just use this for bass lines. So that's that one. And then you've got Twisted Funk. As I say, these sounds quite hard. They sound quite, you know, heavy and tough, but break them down. You could just, you know, you could make loads more mellow stuff out of them. And then the final one is, what's this one? Is this the right package still? Are we still in Calm Night? We've moved into Techno House now. So the next video that I'm going to make is going to be basically making a whole track out of this. So this is just the introduction video for the UVI. So I've done this just to show you a brief outline of what is available on there. And that's just in the disco package. So once we've got through that, I'm going to work through some of the other ones and do something different in those. But you've got all of these different packages and different presets in there. So it's really worth getting for the sake of €49, which is what, £43 or $60 US. It's really worth getting. So that's it for this. What I'll do in the next video is I'll make a track out of the sounds. I'll take one of the presets, change it all, and then make something a little bit more funky out of it, rather than it being quite a dark sort of track. as I've shown you in the presets, I'll turn something quite funky out of the sounds. So go ahead and check out the link below and go and see if it's something that you might be interested in at the UVI website. Thank you very much for watching, and any questions, just leave them in the box below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Get in touch with me at waxadisc.com if you need anything more. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.